Chapter 14. The next week, I went online and ordered a cab from Mexicano Taxi again. In the special comments request box, I asked for Jairo Hernandez. I was on time. The next week, I went online and ordered a cab from Mexicano Taxi again. In the special comments request box, I asked for Jairo Hernandez. He was on time and he had his license and vehicle inspection records ready for me on the front seat. I checked them again because I think it's important to always be thorough. As Jairo pulled away from the curb, I noticed two things. The first was that he had gotten a haircut. The second reveal was more alarming. Because his hair was shorter in the back, I could now see a nevus on his neck. This means I saw a mole, but not a regular-looking mole. It had, in my opinion, the signs of trouble. It was asymmetrical and it had flecks of red and blue on the broken edges. One infant in 100 babies is born with moles. I doubt that's fun for the parents. Who wants a spotty kid? But almost all moles appear in the first 20 years of a person's life. That is why if a new mole appears or an old one changes into something else, attention needs to be directed to this area, medically speaking. I didn't want to alarm Jairo Hernandez, but there was a real possibility that he might not be aware of this bad-looking mole because it was on the back of his neck and he couldn't see there very easily. So while we drove across town to my appointment with Mr. Del Duke, I stared at his skin issue. I felt compelled to write the following on an index card. You need to have a dermatologist perform a punch biopsy on the mole, nevus, on the back of your neck. If it is not too much of an invasion of privacy, I would very much like to look at the pathology report. I will be taking a taxi next week at the same time. This is important, so please do not take this medical suggestion lightly. Willow Chance. I handed him the message when I got out of the taxi. Mai and I were able to talk more easily now in Vietnamese. I had effectively mastered the tones and accent by obsessive listening at night to audio lessons designed for state employees. You could download the sessions if you had a password, which was not hard to get if you knew what you were doing. It was like we had a secret language, because on the school property no one else but Quang Ha spoke Vietnamese. We walked around the building and the parking lot, still half looking for Cheddar, but really just talking. We are both interested in botany, and I tried to explain some of the things I knew without sounding like the host of the Discovery Channel. We were sitting under one of the few trees out in front of the main school district office when I said to her in Vietnamese, "You are my new best friend." Mai was silent. I knew that she had many friends at school, and that her friend Alana was the one she considered to be her closest friend. I was just a little kid, and I realized that I had overstepped. What kind of person only knew someone for a few weeks and said something like that? So I added, "Since I just started at a new school, you're right now sort of my only friend, so that makes the distinction perhaps not much of a difference." And that made Mai smile.